The Dachshund, courage beneath the forest floor. They were never meant to be small in spirit. They were bred to face darkness alone. And they carried bravery into tunnels no human could enter. To understand the Dachshund, we must step into the dense forests of Germany several centuries ago, where hunters tracked badgers through tangled undergrowth and rocky terrain, relying on dogs that could pursue prey into narrow burrows carved deep beneath the earth. Badgers are not passive animals. They defend themselves fiercely, armed with powerful jaws and sharp claws capable of inflicting serious injury on predators that underestimate them. A dog sent underground to confront such an opponent needed not only physical design suited to tight spaces, but unwavering courage and tenacity that did not falter in confined darkness. This necessity shaped the early Dachshund. The name itself reveals its purpose. Dachs means badger, Hund means dog, the badger dog. Its elongated body and short, sturdy legs were not aesthetic curiosities. They were functional adaptations, allowing the dog to enter burrows, maneuver through narrow tunnels, and pursue quarry with persistence where larger hounds could not follow. The Dachshund's chest was bred broad enough to support strong lungs for sustained digging and confrontation, while its flexible spine allowed it to twist and turn within tight underground chambers. Its front paws developed into powerful digging tools capable of displacing soil rapidly to widen passages or reach hidden prey. But physical structure alone would never have been sufficient. The Dachshund required a temperament defined by boldness and independence. Once underground, separated from its handler by layers of soil and distance, the dog had to make decisions without direct guidance. It had to assess movement, track scent in confined air, and stand its ground against a cornered badger. Hesitation could mean injury. Retreat could mean failure. So breeders reinforced fearlessness, determination, and a sharp, alert mind capable of working autonomously. Over time, variations emerged within the breed. Standard Dachshunds handled larger quarry such as badgers and wild boar tracking. Miniature Dachshunds were later refined for hunting smaller animals like rabbits, particularly as hunting needs diversified across regions. Coat types also evolved. Smooth-coated Dachshunds retained the sleek appearance of early lines. Wire-haired versions likely incorporated terrier influence, adding long-haired Dachshunds. Long-haired Dachshunds were later refined for hunting smaller animals like rabbits, particularly as hunting needs diversified across regions. Coat types also evolved. Smooth-coated Dachshunds retained the sleek appearance of early lines. Wire-haired versions likely incorporated terrier influence. Long-haired Dachshunds. Long-haired Dachshunds were later refined for hunting smaller animals like rabbits, particularly as hunting needs diversified across regions. Despite these variations, the core identity remained intact. This was a dog built for underground confrontation. But as centuries passed and hunting practices changed, the Dachshund's role began shifting from specialized field worker to household companion. Its compact size made it suitable for urban living. Its lively personality attracted families seeking a dog with character. Yet beneath the charming silhouette lies a working heritage rarely acknowledged. The Dachshund's bark, often described as surprisingly deep and resonant for its size, reflects its original purpose of signaling handlers above ground while engaged in subterranean pursuit. Its stubborn streak, sometimes frustrating to inexperienced owners, mirrors the independence required when facing prey without immediate instruction. Its digging behavior is not random mischief. It is instinct echoing generations of burrow work. As the Dachshund entered modern homes, its bold spirit remained. But the environments around it changed dramatically. No longer navigating forest tunnels, it now navigates living rooms and city sidewalks. No longer confronting badgers, it confronts vacuum cleaners and unfamiliar visitors. The question that emerges is not whether the Dachshund adapted. It clearly has. The question is how much of its original courage and independence remains beneath its domestic exterior. Because small stature can conceal large instinct, and beneath the forest floor of history, the Dachshund's true design still waits to be understood. As the Dachshund moved from forest burrows into townhouses and city apartments, its physical form remained largely unchanged. But the context surrounding that form transformed completely, creating a subtle instinct and modern expectation that continues shaping the breed's behavior today. In traditional hunting settings, the Dachshund's elongated body was an advantage. It allowed deep entry into tunnels, maintaining contact with quarry while maneuvering through tight spaces that would trap or restrict larger dogs. Its low center of gravity provided stability when digging or bracing against struggling prey. Its powerful forequarters drove soil backward with determined rhythm, widening passageways when necessary. But in domestic life, that same long spine introduces vulnerability. Intervertebral disc disease has become a well-documented health concern within the breed, linked in part to the structural elongation that once enabled underground work. Jumping from furniture, climbing stairs repeatedly, or carrying excess weight can place strain on the vertebral column, making careful management essential for longevity. This is one example of how form forged for purpose requires thoughtful adaptation when purpose shifts. Temperament presents an even more complex transition. The Dachshund was never bred to be blindly obedient. Underground, it could not rely on constant instruction. It needed initiative. If a tunnel forked, it chose direction. If prey resisted, it adjusted strategy. That independence remains visible today. Owners often describe the breed as intelligent yet stubborn, affectionate yet selective, playful yet strong-willed. These traits are not contradictions. They are reflections of a dog designed to think autonomously. When training aligns with positive reinforcement and consistency, the Dachshund responds with enthusiasm and surprising quickness. When handled with harsh correction or inconsistent boundaries, it may resist, retreat, or challenge. Its boldness, once directed toward badgers, can manifest as disproportionate confidence toward much larger dogs, a phenomenon sometimes called small dog syndrome, but more accurately understood as retained hunting courage. The Dachshund does not always perceive itself as small. It perceives itself as capable. That confidence can be charming in safe environments. It can be risky when mismanaged around unfamiliar animals or situations. Socialization during early developmental stages plays a crucial role in shaping how that boldness expresses itself. Exposure to varied people, sounds, and settings helps balance vigilance with stability. Without such exposure, the breed's protective alertness can sharpen into excessive barking or suspicion. The Dachshund's voice remains one of its most defining features. Deep, resonant, and persistent, it once served as a communication tool from underground chambers to hunters waiting above. Today, it often alerts households to visitors or unfamiliar sounds with unwavering dedication. While some may view this as nuisance, it is rooted in historical function. The breed's transition into companionship did not erase its instinct to announce presence and potential disturbance. Coat variations continue influencing expression as well. Wire-haired Dachshunds often display slightly more terrier-like intensity. Long-haired varieties may exhibit softer demeanor, reflecting Spaniel ancestry. Smooth-coated individuals frequently maintain directness and clarity characteristic of early lines. Yet across these variations, the central blueprint remains intact. Courage, tenacity, alert awareness. As the Dachshund gained popularity across Europe and later in North America, it became not only a hunter's ally, but a cultural icon appearing in art, advertising, and even political symbolism. Its unique silhouette became instantly recognizable, reinforcing its appeal. But popularity introduces pressure. Increased demand can lead to breeding practices that prioritize appearance over structural health or temperament stability. Responsible programs focus on maintaining strong backs, balanced proportions, and stable personalities to preserve both function and comfort. The Dachshund now lives largely above ground, burrowed into blankets, investigating small openings with unwavering focus. These behaviors are not random quirks. They are inherited patterns written into muscle memory and nerve response. The breed's journey from forest floor to family sofa is remarkable. But adaptation does not mean erasure. The Dachshund carries history in its spine, in its bark, in its fearless gaze. Understanding that history is essential to guiding its future without dulling the courage that once defined its purpose. The Dachshund's story grows more complex the closer we look at the space between instinct and environment, because this is a breed whose body may be compact, but whose psychological intensity remains outsized in ways that modern life does not always fully accommodate. For centuries, the Dachshund's courage was not optional. It was essential. A dog sent into a badger's den faced a confined battleground where retreat was often impossible and confrontation inevitable. This selective pressure reinforced a mindset that favored persistence over surrender, determination over hesitation, and self-reliance over constant human direction. Today, that same mental architecture appears in subtler forms. A Dachshund may fixate on a scent trail during a walk, pulling with surprising strength for its size, driven by tracking instincts refined long before leash laws existed. It may challenge larger dogs without obvious fear, not out of recklessness, but out of ingrained boldness that once allowed it to confront quarry several times its size. This intensity, admirable in the forest, can become problematic in uncontrolled social settings. Without structured boundaries and early positive socialization, the Dachshund's vigilance may escalate into reactivity, particularly toward unfamiliar animals or perceived territorial intrusions. The breed's alert nature also manifests in vocal communication. The bark that once signaled underground engagement can now become persistent in densely populated environments where stimulation is constant. Doorbells, passing pedestrians, distant noises. Each may trigger an instinctive response rooted in ancestral signaling behavior. Managing this requires not suppression, but redirection and consistent training that channels alertness into controlled awareness rather than continuous alarm. Another tension lies in the breed's physical vulnerability. The elongated spine that enabled tunnel navigation now demands careful lifestyle adjustments. Jumping repeatedly from elevated surfaces increases risk of spinal injury. Obesity compounds structural stress. Owners who underestimate these risks may unintentionally shorten the dog's active years. Preventative measures such as weight management, controlled exercise, and support exercise and become crucial for preserving mobility. Yet despite these challenges, the Dachshund possesses extraordinary adaptability. When provided with mental stimulation through scent work, structured play, and interactive training, it thrives with enthusiasm and engagement. Nose-based games tap directly into hunting heritage. Puzzle tasks satisfy cognitive curiosity. Consistent routines reinforce security and reduce anxiety. The breed's independence does not preclude affection. In fact, Dachshunds often form strong attachments to their primary handlers, displaying loyalty that converge on possessiveness if not balanced with healthy exposure to varied social interactions. This bond can be both heartwarming and demanding. Separation anxiety may arise when attachment becomes exclusive, without gradual conditioning or distance. The emotional peak of the Dachshund's narrative lies in this duality. It is a dog small enough to fit comfortably in an apartment, yet brave enough to have faced underground predators. It is affectionate and playful, yet unyielding when confronted with challenge. It adapts to modern life, yet carries instincts forged in darkness beneath forest soil. The conflict is not about whether the Dachshund belongs in contemporary homes. It clearly does. The conflict is about whether those homes recognize the working dog beneath the charming silhouette. Because without understanding, boldness can be misread as defiance. Alertness can be mistaken for nuisance. Independence can be labeled stubbornness. But when history is acknowledged and instinct respected, the Dachshund reveals remarkable depth. Its courage is not outdated, it is simply redirected. The tunnels may be gone, the badges absent. But beneath every confident stride, the memory of subterranean purpose remains alive. And the future of this breed depends on honoring that memory without allowing it to become imbalanced in a world that no longer requires underground battle. The Dachshund's defining moment is not when it disappears into a tunnel. It is when it chooses not to back down. When something far larger approaches and this long-bodied, short-legged dog stands firm with a gaze that carries centuries of inherited resolve. That is the heart of the breed. Not size, not novelty, courage. From the dense forests of Germany to the polished floors of modern homes, the Dachshund has carried forward a blueprint shaped by confrontation in confined spaces where instinct had to be sharp and retreat was rarely an option. Its elongated frame was engineered for pursuit beneath the earth. Its bark was crafted as a signal from darkness to daylight. Its independence was refined because underground there was no handler to consult. That history does not vanish simply because the setting changes. It transforms. The tunnels become hallways. The quarry becomes a scent trail on a city sidewalk. The signal bark becomes an alert at the door. The Dachshund remains what it was built to be, vigilant, determined, and intensely aware of its surroundings. But here lies the climax of its journey. In the modern world, courage must be guided, independence must be balanced, strength must be supported by health. The same spine that once allowed flexibility in burrows now demands protection through careful management and responsible breeding. The same boldness that once served hunters must now be shaped through structured socialization to prevent unnecessary conflict. When properly raised and understood, the Dachshund becomes a remarkable companion. It is playful yet perceptive, affectionate yet alert, small in stature yet immense in personality. It burrows into blankets not only for warmth, but because the instinct to seek enclosed spaces still whispers from its ancestry. It follows scent trails with unwavering focus because tracking remains imprinted in its nerves. It bonds deeply because partnership, even underground, was always central to its purpose. The resolution of the Dachshund's story is not about softening its spirit. It is about honoring it responsibly. Breeders must prioritize spinal health and balance structure over exaggerated length. Owners must provide stimulation that engages mind and nose rather than expecting effortless compliance. Communities must see beyond the caricature of a comical shape and recognize the working heritage beneath it. Because the Dachshund is not merely charming, it is deliberate design. Its bravery was earned in darkness. Its tenacity proven in confined spaces where hesitation carried consequence. Now it lives above ground, but the blueprint remains. And perhaps that is the enduring lesson. Even the smallest frame can hold formidable resolve. Even the most compact silhouette can carry a legacy of fearless purpose.